Welcome for the next class on DBMS class. I'm gonna share the um, slides. So in the yesterday's class, we just started with definition, characteristics, actors on the scene, and workers behind the scene, and advantages and limitations. So in days we what we observe is in our today's current trends, database is everywhere with say different applications we observe in our day-to-day lives. Everywhere we observe databases. Or rather to say, without databases, no application is exists, or rather without databases, no computer science exists. So in order to give out any say a structure to the data itself is a big challenging when it was started. So slowly the things began into shape. So we define the structure to the uh, data itself, and we start working with playing the relationship kind with respect to data as well. So that's all about how we start with the data. My screen visible, right? Can you guys see the screen? Wants to remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what characteristics say database it's describes itself, what actually the data mean, and what are the different versions of data, how the structure of the data will be, all that about characteristics. So actors in the sense they are the different people working with respect to applications or with respect to the software, right? So finally with advantages and disadvantages, we close yesterday's class. Um, guys, somebody's at, okay. That's option I can make not to uh, if anybody is not muted, I can mute from my side also. So before we start actually, how about um, different concepts begin in databases? Say we try to create everything in the form of a models, in the form of something which is like a structure, something which is in the form of a particular design. All right, so there are different models or different kind of structures defined in the form of specific area. All right, so when we are trying to observe data in the form of a specific structure, there should be some specific models which try to describe about data. So first we observe after knowing all the background of databases, we start talking on data models, schemas and instances. So for the very first chapter, what we are trying to talk is on the concepts which are in general with respect to some concepts which stands as a base to databases, right? So data models in the sense what are the different types of models available in data. So in the sense in databases, what type of models are existing, like in which particular layer you study what type of model. Okay, so see, DBMS is a huge software which try to play with different layers. So in three-tier architecture or three-schema architecture, you will understand that there are three layers and how each layer, individual layer works on. So likewise, when I say about databases, there are different models. All are pertaining or all are working with respect to data itself. So all these models, what we try to observe or study, they all are concerned only with data. Okay, so how you try to shape the data or model the data for the user. how we try to store the data, in what way the data is stored, in what perspective the data is stored, what are the storage structures, how do you try to retrieve the data, how do you plan the data not to say lose the data. Likewise, there are different models, right? So each model plays one specific role, right? So schemas means it is the structure. Okay, let me start the definition of data model. So a data model is a collection of concepts that can be used to describe the structure of a database, that provides the necessary means to achieve the abstraction, of this abstraction in the sense data abstraction. Right, so means what? I am trying to provide the concepts to describe the structure of a database. Structure of the database is nothing but the schema. The schema is always says it is the structure of the database. Now, for example, to just say one specific example, uh, so hmm, when I try to come a specific example of a particular, say, student application. So student application comprises of various information, like student have USN. A student is one entity or or an independent component which can be attached to diversity of applications. Like when I'm trying to build a university application, student will play an important role. When I try to build a college information, so student will be a part of it. When I try to build an application for library management system, student also will come into picture. Likewise, I'm trying to describe the structure for a particular application. Okay, so when I'm trying to design an application, in midst to design an application, I have various models which try to collaborate and give me the structure of what the user is trying to build. So when that structure is built, it gives a means of abstraction to the data. Okay, so when one structure is created, for example, if I try to create one table, say if I try to create a student table. So let me go to some, or say, so if I try to create so one student application. Okay, so in student there are, say, USN. I say then name, then I have email, then semester, and so on. Okay, so this will be my one table. Okay, so what I mean to say is this, in this application or just one student record or in student table, I have one specific attribute, or this is my student application. These are my attributes. So this is my student entity. In student entity, I have various attributes. Okay, so when I say attributes, attributes are some of the properties which try to describe about the entity. Okay, there are some limited attributes I have considered. Now in these attributes, I try to apply the constraints, like I want university seat number to be unique, and a name, multiple people can have same name. I can say I can add this email as to be one of the unique component. This semester multiple people will be studying in one semester. Now in USN, what does it mean is I will try to identify each individual student through USN. So I will make this attribute as a key attribute, or just key, through which I will try to identify each individual record. Okay, so through this, what I will try, through this key, I will try to identify individual student. Okay, this USN is of this student, this USN is of this students and particular records. Now what I am trying to do is I will try to identify the grade of individual student with the help of USN. Okay, say what I will try to do, I will try to identify each individual score or marks of individual student with respect to the USN. Are you guys understanding what I'm talking? So this grade is independent. This student is independent. So what I will try to do is this grade is one more table which is identified or defined or depend upon the student. So this grade, whatever this table, what I will try to design, this table is always dependent or identified through student. Now, whatever this USN is existing here, that will only be present here. So this will be identifying the values of this. I hope I'm understanding. I hope I am making you understanding. Now, what I'm trying to say is student is here, grade is here. So grade is one independent, but it is attached through the help of student. Now, whichever student takes admission, only that student information marks only will be displayed here. So that means whatever USN is present in student, only those USNs will be present in grade. Maybe some students information is not here in grade, but whoever's information is in grade, all the such information will be presenting in student. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is this is a kind of structure which I'm trying to build. This is the one type of structure I will plan for my student application. Just a simple example I'm quoting. Okay, so I'm trying to identify or create the structure for these two tables. Okay, so these two tables hold a relationship amongst the data. So this student table holds a USN, which is a unique number, and this USN is represented in grade using holding some relationship. Okay, so now I am trying to perform a relationship from this table to this table through USN. So whatever values in USN in grade are present, all these values are present in student itself. I cannot have any individual or extra records in grade, but in student I can have any records which may or may not have relationship in grade. Some students may have a year back, so such students will not have a grade for the upcoming semesters, something like that. Just one simple assumption. So what I'm trying to perform is relationship between student and grade. So these both, when they are related, I call them as database. So if at all I can say I can take some multiple tables like this. So these are just two tables what I have considered. Now I can take multiple tables and work on. For example, if I take one more table called as department table. So a department comprises of department name and description. So department and description. Let me take two components here in this department table. In after semester, I will try to hold say department here. Now here in department table, this department will have a unique value, and this is representing here, saying here the many students will study in department, so values will be repeating here. In student it can repeat. Same way in grade USN can repeat, but in USN in student cannot repeat. But in department, in student table department can repeat, but in department table department will not repeat. Understanding? Now I'm trying to hold up relationship between three tables. Here also I can take department, no problem. Again, this and this are related. These two are related. These two are related. Likewise, I can work on in a different manner. So now I'm trying to build what? I'm trying to perform a relationship amongst all these tables. Understanding? So if I try to add one more table, I can add. I can go on with doing n number of things uh, in my table, right? Right. So this is like one simple example. So you guys understanding what I'm talking now? So structure of database means what? It is when I'm trying to create one structure for a particular database, I am trying to specify the schema for the database. Schema means it is the complete structure of a database. So that comprises what? Data types, relationships, and constraints that hold the data. Now, for example, if I try to just mention, say, student table, in student table, I have what? I have name, USN, and semester, and so on. Now, name will be of what? Will be of char data type. USN may be of char or int, or let's say char itself, and semester is int. Okay. Now, when I say char, char will be holding a specific value. Now, integers also hold a specific value. So, when I take one component anywhere, maybe name or USN or semester, each one will have a specific data type along with its specific size. So, when I say that my name will belong to a specific domain. Okay, this is my student table. In student entity or student table, I have various n number of attributes, and each attribute will be of a specific domain. Now, domain means what? It is the character, it is the data type, maybe a character, int, cat, floor, or anything else, along with a specific size. Okay, okay. So each attribute will be of a specific domain. And when I say integer, integer also holds the range value of a specific range. Okay. No need to specify, when I say int, no need to specify any value. It's an inbuilt component of a particular int to hold the value amongst range. Now data types we'll study later on. Don't worry. What are the different data types? What are the different value ranges? All that we will see. But when I try to design a specific schema, schema is the structure of whole application. Whole application in the sense, in one application, I will have round about minimum 5 to 6 tables or 11 tables, n number of tables. So minimum in one application, I will be having at least some 5 to 6 tables. Okay, so in 5 to 6 tables, I will hold each of individual table is related to one or the other. Okay, understood? So in our say textbook, one example is followed everywhere. It is the example of a company database. Okay, company database. Company database. In that, there are various departments. Departments you have, employees you have, projects you have, and dependents. Dependents of employees. Okay. Now these are four different entities. Four different entities. Now each one, this is the schema. This is the schema. These are entities. These are different entities. On each department will have various attributes like department number, D number, D name, and so on. Employee in the sense employee number, employee name, salary, designation, so on. Projects, project number, project name, number of working hours, and so on. Dependent, dependent name, and so on. Now, what we try to do in this is not actually the schema. The schema is given in the say, okay, schema is here. I will come back to that just later. So before I could go ahead, have you understood? I am trying to specify one structure for one application. I will tell you the detailed example of company database. Just hold on. But structure schema means it is the structure of complete application. Okay, it is the structure of database. Okay, I mean, it holds the entities, attributes, the relationships, and each one attribute, if I try to consider, each one attribute will have a specific data type with a specific value range uh, that says as a domain. Okay, every time when I try to observe my data type, I always say it is a specific domain. Now, domain followed with some constraint. Sorry, uh, constraint. Constraint means it is a kind of specific rule what I'm trying to perform on the data. For example, USN is one constraint. Uh, Now department number is one constraint, project number is one constraint, employee number is one constraint, and so on. And there are specific rules which I try to put forth on the particular data is called as constraint. Okay, now what I'll do is I will try to use this department number in employee table, and in employee table I have employee ID that I will try to attach in project table, and department number I will also try to write in project numbers, and employee will have dependents. So I'm trying to say you what is in various entities you have different attributes which try to hold a relationship amongst themselves. When only relationship arrives or when only relationships hold, then I can say this is database. There might be tables with no relationship, but that is not a database. Okay, so structure of a database holds data types, relationships, and constraints. So student example I have already covered. So let us try to understand what are the different categories of data models along with databases interfaces. So I have high level or conceptual data models, low level or physical data models, network and hierarchical models. SDL, VDL, DDL, DML are different languages. SDL is storage definition language. VDL is view definition language. DDL is data definition language. DML is data manipulation language. So these which are in bold, they are different interfaces. I'll just come back to that. High level or conceptual data models means, now one simple example I will quote. See, everybody are accessing emails, correct? So we all are using emails. So whenever we are trying to access emails, from where all emails are being accessed? You guys say from the server. No, actually they are not from server, they are from storage. Server is one component or the middleware through which you are trying to access the data. Understanding? User, say application tier or presentation tier, middleware, and data tier, three different layers. Now, conceptual level in the sense it is one particular layer where it is only with respect to a specific user, or how in what way the user wants, in that way the data is given to him. Okay, conceptual data model means it is the specific design given for this user. Now you try to observe the architecture of Gmail, arrangement of all the emails or arrangement of all set of functionaries in a particular email. You observe it is same for everyone. Okay, the background structure is same for all of the viewers. You see the list of emails, how it occurs, the individual buttons where it should sit, the win where all each, you see the structure overall it is same, but depend on which user has logged in, his data will come and sit. Okay, data will be somewhere in the storage in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, from when data is extracted from there and data is being given to the user in one specific manner. Okay, that style or that view is called as high level view or conceptual data model. Okay, so data is arranged in the form of a certain set of a logic where the user can easily view. That model is called as what? Conceptual data model or high level data model. High level in the sense where the user can easily read the content. Okay, that is one data model. The one more data model is physical data model. Physical data model in the sense I need some of these storage structures or efficient storage structures where I can easily place the data in such a way that I can easily retrieve. Whenever I want, I can retrieve the data. Whenever I want, I can place the data. Remember, every time I am accessing the data from storage only, not from the server. Please change that view. Previously, if you are accessing to your say data is molded within server. Previously it was, but nowadays data is somewhere, storage is somewhere, server is somewhere, user is somewhere. Okay, but all are interconnected through intercommunication networks or intercommunication media, wherein you cannot bypass the server, but you are to be directly connected to data with the help of server. So server is the component which takes the request from the user, goes to the data, extracts what data is required, mounts in what fashion the user asks, and given to the user. Okay, so those two models are network and hierarchical models. Hierarchical models, I'll just give you one example. See, data is always same. Data, data is always same in the sense data is at the core central part. Depending on the type of the person logged in, depending on the credentials of the user, the data changes automatically. Okay, so I will try to attach some hierarchical model to the data. For example, students can just view their marks, correct? Faculty can update their subject marks. HOD can change any of the marks, can view all the marks. Other department students can I mean HOD can just look other departments, but he cannot alter. Same way, higher authority can alter any data, any student. Means what? Their hierarchy comes in the company also. The data accessing happens in the same manner. So low level employee will have a certain set of data. The little more higher employee will have little more privileges with the data. As the user credentials go on increasing with accessing a higher amount of data, the data automatically wraps up. That structure is available with respect to are called as hierarchical data models. So network model, when I'm trying to perform the data with the help of through proper network connectivity, is about network data models. Okay, so SDL is representing storage definition language. We use some measures like hash trees, binary trees or sequential trees or co-sequential trees to access our data. There are different measures of storage devices. Let us not go into that detail, but you try to understand that there are different sources or different variety of techniques of how we store our data. Okay, say that is storing the data is always represents as SDL, a storage definition language. View definition languages, it is a type of say structure you try to represent the data. For example, if I try to give an example of an Amazon or any e-commerce application, you try to observe the data in one screen extracted from different parts of different tables, different information, but wrapped up and shown in as one single view. That is possible only with the help of VDL. Data definition language is the means of trying to create a structure or trying to define a structure is possible with the data definition language. If you are trying to play with the data with respect to how you try to manipulate your queries and send and all that data is wrapping according to what way the user asks, or that is all about your DML, data manipulation language. Please remember, when I'm trying to use a DML, the data in your database or the data in your storage is never changing. It is just extracting the raw data from your storage and manipulating in what way the user wants and giving or showing it to the user. It's not manipulating the data with respect to the data in the storage. The data in the storage is will never alter. Okay, so that will be altered only with the help of DDL commands. Okay, so we will study in our lab DDL and DML commands. Also, there are some specific type of privileged commands. I'll just let you know, or one day I will just take complete lab session with some complete demonstrations. So different DBMS interfaces these days, see, always DBMS is considered as a backend tool, or backend data is always at the backend. So we always say databases are at the backend. In today's world, we also play with the different forms and reports through the existing packages. We can even create menu-based interfaces or GUI-based interfaces or natural language interfaces. The search techniques may be with respect to keyword-based or the speech IO based. We all use Google Assistants, right? So Google Assistant uses in the form of your speech IO, a speech input output. So the moment you say something from the data dictionary or from the library, all words are being checked and verified and read and observed and understood by the system, and then it will act accordingly. All right, so again, whenever whatever word I speak, your Google Assistant understands, it will search from the based on a particular keyword and give you the specific task. All right, so all these are created in or ready in your data dictionary. So in data catalog we say, data dictionary we say, where all the data is completely pre-written, all your keywords are written there. What your before processing, everything checks in your say in data dictionary, and accordingly the execution take place. So today you can create say front end also with respect to your databases. You have one additional tool available in our lab. Say it is the management configuration studio. That package we will not install when we are installing in our lab. The purpose of not installing is we will study with respect to command oriented. A command oriented gives you the thorough knowledge of all the programming techniques. When you are, but in today's world, when you are working, you are not working with command prompt, you are working with all GUI oriented. So when you are using GUI oriented, if there are any errors, it's very difficult to trace back and check with the errors. But to make you an ease, or with the make you thorough with all the commands, we go with the command oriented. Okay, but working with GUI is very easy, very fast, because everything you can do at your fingertips without any problem, or with very ease you can go on creating the structures. So you will not make any mistakes when you are doing GUI, but if there are any mistakes done in GUI, to know all the say syntaxes, or to know all the different types of say commands, we are definitely working with command prompt. All right, so you can create menu based interfaces in your front end tools. Is you can have one special tool of Oracle Forms and Reports. In say Oracle Workspace Forms and Reports, there is one special package available, uh, Management Configuration Studio. Along with that, you need to attach that one more tool. We will see if time permits. I'll show you that also. We can create menus based on interfaces, like when you click on a particular menu, how the menu should look, and what are the tasks should be executed. All that we can create in databases itself. All right, so in today's packages, all GUI are supporting with different natural language interfaces. So you can convert from one language to the other, as how your Google Translator does. Everything happens with respect to your data dictionaries. All right. So coming to three schemas architecture. Sorry, before three schema architecture, I had to have one simple example of schemas, instances, and database state. So instance and a database state is at a particular timestamp. Schemas is just description of database or database itself. Uh, Instances and database state is at a particular moment. At this particular moment, what is the state of the, or what is the structure of the system. For example, at this particular time, uh, database state, I can give example of a particular class. At this year, for example, for this year, how many students are there in a particular semester? That is the database state. At this particular time, how many books are there in the library? At this instance, how many library books are available? At this particular instant, on today, for this particular train, how many seats are available? Okay, all they are instances and database states. Okay, so when instance exists, and we say there is a state exists. At this particular time, what is your balance in your account? Likewise, I can just give different ways of instances and states. All right, so coming back to your schema, is what is the description of the database or database itself. So for example, it is, I have given one student application. I considered one student application. Still, this is not the complete schema diagram. This is just a draft or gist of student application. We always try to take little tables or few tables to give you clear picture of all the tables. We don't take tables which are maybe in terms of 20 or 30 tables. It will be very much tedious to understand or manage. We take few tables and try to understand. As things grows in today's world, we observe the complexity increases, that we can observe or look into complex applications later on. In this schema diagram, there are certain small things which we have not added. Okay, why we have not added means, initial level, we don't know the concepts of how to create the relationship. Okay, I will tell you, once we know the relationship in amongst these, then we'll try to design those, draw those relationships. After drawing the relationships, we can say that is the complete structure of a schema. Okay, so I have a student, I have different entities. These are different tables. So student is one entity, course is one entity, prerequisite is one entity, section is one entity, grade report is one entity. So these are different entities, or these are different tables. So for each individual say entity, there are specific attributes. So attributes is what? They are the component which are describing about the entity. Okay, attributes are some property which are describing about the entity. Now what is entity? Entity is something which is existing in real world. So student is existing, course is existing, prerequisites are existing, section is existing, and as well as grade reporters are existing. So in student, what are the different attributes are there? Name, student number, class, major. Okay, so say student number will be like which is maybe a unique component. Name may be repeated, class may be repeated, major may be repeated. Major in the sense it is maybe a something, it is department and so on. Course, in course name, course number, credit hours, department. So these are different attributes in course table. So in course number may be considered as unique. Same way in prerequisites, course name, prerequisite number. So course number may be unique. In section, section identifier may be unique. Course number, semester, year, instructor. Grade report, student number, section identifier, grade. In among these three in grade report, which will be unique? Can anybody give me some response in the chat box? Yes. Take some 3 to some 5 to 10 seconds and get back to me in a grade report which will act as unique. You guys are there? Yes. Some response from the audience?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in grade report, which will be acting as unique, whether it is the student number, grade section identifier, or grade. Which one? Come on, say something, say something. One clue, you will get a grade for a particular subject only once. That is the clue. You guys understood? Guys, you understood? I repeat again, I repeat the hint again. One student will pass the subject once. The student will not read the subject multiple times. Once you are passed, you are done. That means the subject name along with your university should be made as unique. So in grade report, what will be the value? Yes. I can see 44 students are there in the class, but yes, Amit, you're saying
Unique,
something?
sir. Unique.
Sorry, in it?
Unique, sir.
Student number, sir.
Only student number? Or is it section ID or it is grade? There are three things in this grade report. There are three attributes in the grade report table. So when three things are there, which should be considered as unique? See, in student I took student number, in course I took course number, In prerequisite number or course number, anything is fine, no problem, or take both, no problem. In section identifier, I will take as 1. What about grade report? Anybody is texting? No, nobody has texted yet. Guys, come on, say something. Try to say.
Grade, sir. Student grade.
Sorry, someone said something. Please, can you repeat, ma? Your voice was cracking.
Grade, sir.
Your voice is still cracking. Your voice is not clearly audible. Please, can you text? If not, it's better to type a text. It's shown. It will be visible to all. 11:39. Come on, say something, guys. I'm running short of time, guys. I do have next class as well. I need to continue. There's one small announcement, guys. At 3:30, my regular class is scheduled. This was the class which I have been missed on Tuesday, according to previous timetable, which was made earlier. But unfortunately, that class is being shifted to Monday. So I need to switch over one additional class. Since I lost one class, so I'm continuing this. Afternoon is my regular class. No problem, right? Yes, come on, say something. You need to say.
Sir, can
I
you
already.
repeat the question once again, sir?
I will repeat. See, in this grade report, which attribute will act as unique? The hint is one student will pass subject only once. You cannot write the subject again when you are passed. So, in this grade report, what happens? You just please tell according to this table only. Grade cannot be unique. If you see, that grade should not repeat for any other one. Student number will not repeat for multiple people.
The
Course
student
name,
number.
sorry,
Student number, sir.
student number can't repeat because you will write multiple subjects. No.
Okay, okay.
Section identifier cannot because
Section
multiple
identifier.
people. Section identifier also cannot be because you will have multiple people in one class. Grade can also repeat. I already said the answer. It should be the combination of all the three. Understood? Understood.
Yes, sir.
One you will send
Yes,
in
sir.
one semester, in four you will get one grade. You will not repeat all of them again. See, your grade may be same, but your section will be different, right? You will have different subject, correct or no? One student will have 6 subjects in one class, correct? Yes or no? Your grade may repeat or may not repeat, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now the core part is 3 schema architecture. Very important, one of the most um, very important, say, structure 3 schema architecture. Data independence will just get back once we finish this 3 schema architecture. The figure says you have 3 different layers, say external view or external schema, conceptual schema, and internal schema. 3 schemas. At the outset, there are end users who are trying to access. Now imagine you are the user at the other end accessing your emails. I just give the example of accessing emails, or you can even consider accessing of your data from maybe Amazon or Flipkart or from anywhere of your e-commerce web application. So when you are trying to access, data will be shown in what way? In how the user wants. See, when you type any or search any product in a maybe e-commerce application, you find all the information related to that. Okay, maybe you will see the pricing, the offers, the different variety of styles, different pictures, its specifications, related items, what you have previously searched, what are the different combinations of with that product. Okay, all that is visible. Correct. Maybe that data is not from one table. The data should be from definitely from different tables. Okay, bank, say bank offers, you will see product specifications, you see along with the related items, you see. Also, you see your cart. I mean, who has logged in, what are the different products available. All that information you see. So how that is being prepared and displayed, all with the help of external schema only or external level only. So in between you will have a conceptual schema, which is a logical schema, which creates a kind of structure logically, and which connects your external level and which connects your internal schema. Okay, conceptual schema is also called as logical schema. And finally, you have at the storage level, you have internal schema, which determines about the storage levels, how to store and how to retrieve the data. Let us see what are the different observations of each particular layer. Now we'll come from the bottom. Internal level, also called as physical schema. Internal level or internal schema or physical schema, all the three are one and the same. Okay, so describes what? The physical storage structures of the database. Physical storage structures means how exactly the data is stored, from where exactly the data is stored, how the data is retrieved. So it describes the complete details of data storage and access paths for the databases. All right, so how exactly the data is stored, how exactly the data is retrieved, how the data is, in what way the data is extracted and stored, all that details are hidden in internal schema or physical schema. It is also called as physical schema. Internal level or internal schema and physical schema are all are one and the same. Now coming to conceptual level, has a conceptual schema which describe the structure of whole database, describing entities, data types, relationships, user operations and constraints. It is with respect to the application, in what way the design is. Okay, describes structure. Okay, how the data is representing, in what way the user has created the data, how the data holds a relationship, what are the data, different data is holding in different which data types, what are the different relationships, what are the different users, user operations, and what are the different constraints. All this is the logical representation, or it is also called as logical schema. Conceptual schema is also called as logical schema. Concept means it is one idea or it is one logic. Okay, so external view includes a number of external schemas or users views. That describes the part of the database that a particular user or grouped users are interested and hides the rest of database. See, it completely not shows how exactly the data is stored, or how data is, what is the structure of the data, how the data, how much the data is present, what are the different storage levels, and what are the different perspectives of data. All that is completely hidden. The user is completely not shown at all, but what the user wants, that information is displayed. That is all about your external view. Okay, guys, so there is 5 minutes less to 11:30, so I'm gonna wrap up now because I have the very 11:30 have one more class being scheduled. So to wrap up for today's class, I just started with categories of, sorry, data models, schemas, and instances. Different categories of data models, followed by schemas, instances, and database state. Then we touched upon three schema architecture. I will still explain three schema architecture with one real world example. and followed by one the data independence and database system environment for afternoon's class. Afternoon, I am coming back to continue these topics. So before I could close, you guys just hang on. Let me download the attendance. There are 43 students present in the class. Okay, so any doubts you guys have, you can just text or ask something, or else we shall close. Any guys, anybody have any doubt? Should we close or anything you guys want to say? Any doubts you guys have? Yes. So I'm gonna stop recording.